Good morning, Walking Man 45 here. I thought I was going to be giving you folks a video of my completed US Marines line of case folders, but I emailed Case twice this week to get the details on which models were included in the line, and it turns out there are three that I need to pick up. So I humbly request some help in locating these difficult to find models. But let's start off with what we do have. All right, so this year is 2025 and it's the 250th birthday of my Marine Corps. A couple of my favorite coins. This one's kind of neat. And this is a Republican Guard pin I got at one of Saddam's palaces up in Tikrit in the early 2000s. My unit was doing reconnaissance for the entire coalition, so this was like prior to any bases. We didn't have we didn't have supply lines. We had to keep going back like hours and hours, many hours, to get like ammo, draw, and water and food. Anyway, so it was a fun time. Definitely more of a Wild West vibe, not having like any friendlies in front of you, just the enemy. So this year I decided to do a few things to kind of celebrate this momentous event. All right, so without further ado, let's kick this pig. All right, so the copper lock. Depending on the day, this is my favorite case model. I believe these were started in 1999, the copper lock, and this whole line of US Marines, the few, the proud, with the Eagle Globe and Anchor shield, according to Case, were introduced in 2019. They're since discontinued. I believe this is Peach Seed Jig, Red Bone. All right, let's just keep these guys open. All right. Next up, pretty similar, the tribal lock. So this is a Tony Bose design, and it appears that this model is discontinued. I really don't understand why companies like Case does things like this. I would think it's very popular. I mean, they didn't say otherwise. They said it seems like they said somewhere along the lines that they discontinued all of his models because of his passing, which makes no sense. I mean, you're a company that exists to make money. But anyways, so very similar to the copper lock, tiny bit shorter than the copper lock, but obviously wider. And then it's got the drop point, and then it doesn't have the sick choil, or I don't know what you'd call it, bolster guard. It's not really a choil, I guess. This is my most recent acquisition, the full-size trapper. Typical awesome case quality. Love it. All right, this was a very difficult one to find. and pretty expensive. These were all very expensive, actually, now that I think about it. But this is the single blade sowbelly 6139. These are all stainless. Pretty cool. And you know, just to show you the difference, because I didn't really ever come across these. If I did, it was the triple blade, but I just wanted to show you the size difference. This was like the first one I got, the Saudi Junior, but it's essentially the same size, like every which way. You know, it's got more of a clip point, whereas the Saudi has that kind of, I don't know, bull nose blade. And these were not perfect. I can feel the back spring when it's open. Still a neat knife. I like the orientation of the handle. Kind of makes it like it's pushing forward. Saudi Junior. You know, it's funny though that this is the only one without the blade edge. But this is legit. It came in a box. I got it from a case knife dealer. Saudi. And then finally, my buddy Lenny's favorite, the 6375 full-size Stockman. Yep. I know a lot of you guys down south, like Georgia Adventurer, love these sod busters, almost like a multi-tool. Got that main clip blade, got the sheep's foot, and spay, but I don't know, I guess you could kind of use that as like a skinner. I would love to have one of these, kind of like a Texas Jack. So sans the spay, and then I think on the Texas Jack, the secondary blade is in front, sort of like the English Jack, but the English Jack has a pen blade. But in any event, yeah, I like it. You know, the design, it's tried and true. Pretty cool. All right, so what I don't have, and I need help with getting so I can properly display these, I need the Russlock, the Kickstart mid-folding hunter, I don't even know what that is, and the Canoe. And again, there are several versions of the US Marines lines. There's blue synthetic, which are pretty cool. There's a couple like it says veteran, and I think it's bone, and then it says Marines, and then there's one or two that are just some sort of blue bone or blue synthetic with a regular case shield, and then it says I think it just says US Marines on it. And then I've seen G10, which are pretty cool, and red G10. And there's like a smattering of like white bone. I don't know, I've seen one that says like oorah type of thing. A lot like the various war commemorative models like World War II, Vietnam, Korea, that sort of thing. But we are looking for this red jig bone with the, I'm gonna call that black eagle globe and anchor shield, and or I don't know if the other three have Marines the Few the Proud on the blade. Yeah, and it's funny that I'll have to look at current literature for the Marine Corps, but I think we dropped the Few the Proud quite a while ago. You know, it used to be a few good men, none the few the proud. I don't really know what the current recruitment literature catchphrase is. All right, so Walkman 45, viewer request, or requesting viewer help on locating the Canoe. And I'll put this in the comments. The Canoe, the mid-folding hunter, and the Kickstart mid-folding hunter, and the Russlock, which I don't even have a single Russlock. And I was gonna get one anyways, just because it's like a strange kind of off design as it is. You know, obviously made 19, I don't know when it was made. I think in the teens. No, not the teens. It would have been, I think early, mid-90s maybe. Anyways, it was in remembrance of Russell Case. And I believe it has like his birthday or date of death, 1953 as the model. Correct me if I'm wrong. All right, well, this video is getting a little long, but yeah, we've got 6 and we need 3 to complete the collection. All right, Walkman 45. Get a nice shot for the Walkman 45. Thanks for the help, guys. I really appreciate any heads up. If you see these or if you have one that you'd want to trade or sell, let me know. I'll have an email address in the About Me section. All right, Semper Fi, over and out.